You've followed multiple artists. You've heard about how they grew from the flaws to perfection. You've learned each and every step, but you think you're not better or you're not getting better because of the lack of instruments that you have. But today, I have something that can change your art from this to better. Everyone, my name is Adura Gunson, and as you all know, I'm also called Adura Art. This class entails everything a beginner artist need to perfect their art and to bring up the best in them. To every artist out there finding it hard to get a particular instrument, or you think everything depends on having all the instruments, due to the times I've been drawing and getting better at each step, I've been made to understand that not every material needs to be used. Why I say this is because I don't have all the materials as they claim you should have before you start drawing. I simply use compromising. I compromise my art tools to make things that are closer to the ones that I'm supposed to get. Yeah, at the beginning of my art, I had issues with one or two, considering the fact that in Nigeria and in some certain places in Nigeria, you don't get art supplies when you need them, even though you have the funds. And the online selling has risks, as we've all heard. So, come to think of it, you don't have to have all these instruments. I basically use few instruments which I'm going to be letting you know about each and every one of them. And you don't need to have everything that I have too. You can make use of what you have, just that you're making excuses. Yeah, you can go from flat to realism with your tools. That tool that you keep saying is not enough, you can go. That being said, let's go straight to the main topic of today. Basically, I'm going to be talking about 4 things. And these 4 things are mainly, number 1, materials and their uses. I'm going to let you know these materials and how you are supposed to use them instead of using them the way you claim is good. The second one is hacks. Like, how do you make this material act like the one that you need to get, but you don't have the money to get it yet? Then I'll go to the length of explaining why your art is still looking flat, or why you are watching videos and your art is still looking like you are not making any improvement. I'm going to explain to you what you should do. Your editing can also be a tool of your realism. So these are the 4 things I'm going to talk about. So guys, these are my artwork before learning or getting the understanding of not every instrument needs to be bought. I was so relying on the fact that I cannot draw without having all the instruments. I cannot draw without having the Tombow mono eraser, the everything. So with a lot of contemplating and thinking, I finally chose to do things the way I want it to be. So I don't want you to miss out on this one. That's why I'm making this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and send to any of your friend artists that needs this video to make their art better. So I remember a time that I had to buy an instrument which I didn't use. I even got lost in using a blending stump, as you can see. Blending stump, I lost the idea of the use. I don't know what it's used for, but because people are using it, I decided to get it. And I know that many artists like myself have done that. So today I'm just going to be letting you know that you don't need every material. Once again, you don't need it all. You just need a few, which I'm going to let you know. I'm going to first of all list them out for you and show you, then express how it should be used. Today I'm going to be theoretically saying it and explain it a little due to the fact that I don't want this video to be that long. So first of all, I'm going to let you know about pencils. Getting pencils doesn't mean you have to get the most expensive ones. It doesn't mean you have to get the one that is 12 set or any set. You can just get a random pencil in your area and just use it to create your sketch before drawing. That's if you are going to realism. Now we're going to talk about realistic drawings. But if you decide on getting set of pencils, I won't say it's bad, because it will help you to create a block view of the person or of the image you're trying to create. It is used in shading. Pencils are used in shading. The first step you should avoid doing is just drawing it flat, no shadow shading, just drawing the image and going straight up to creating your realism. That is wrong. As an artist, you should make sure you shade your art, show the place of the shadow and the edges which needs to be shaded. And if you take into considerations things like the pencil, there are different shades of pencil. You see there are darker ones and light ones. You can use it anyhow you want it to be used. So when you are shading a particular drawing, avoid these few things when you are shading. First of all, avoid pressing your pencil too hard. When you are shading, ensure that your pencil is very, very light on your paper. Secondly, as an artist, you shouldn't be creating perfect things when you are still shading. Your mistakes are made here. We appreciate your mistakes while you are doing that. Just make sure that the face is brought out. So this is just to entail that step, that first step, that perfect step. And don't make the shading too dark, because that's not what we are going into. So the next thing I do is create powder. Besides using charcoal pencil, I use my compressed charcoal to create fine powder. You use it with a sandpaper to create that fine powder to use on smoothing skin. It's used to create that base of your skin. So you can just use any brush to brush it off the sandpaper and use it to create that smooth or very, very soft kind of texture on your art, instead of using or buying a already made one. After using that to create my powder, as I showed you, I'm going to use my brushes to create fine decorations on it. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Well, decorations as in knowing where to use these brushes. Brushes are used, yeah, we know that. But do you know how to use it? Most artists just use a particular brush for every part of the drawing and it comes out messy. Well, I didn't have all the brushes when I started drawing. At first, I had only these two and I made use of them. You can see them. So these two brushes are going to help you to create the edges of your drawing, and also to darken, to create a dark part, anything you want to do on a drawing. I would advise you to on a smaller area, like a line beside the drawing, stuff like that, the hair. But if you want to go into a larger part of the face, you use a larger brush. Till now, I still have less brushes. And I mean less brushes, yeah, I still do. I don't have a packet of brush. No, I bought them all differently. And people used to ask on my TikTok page that how do I do it, which kind of brush do I use, stuff like that. This is the biggest brush that I have. This is the biggest brush. Most artists have bigger brushes than this, but this is the biggest brush. This was the one I could get in the area, because getting makeup brushes are very difficult. I know I'm a girl, I'm supposed to have a makeup brush, but this is what I could afford. So I bought this at about 500 naira. It's not too expensive for you, so you can just use that as an artist. And also this, I love this one. I love it. It's for dark places, as you can see. I'm going to show you later on. So just love your materials. Don't be sad that you have less. Now, before I go into hacks, let me not forget. You need your pencil eraser. Your pencil eraser is very, very needed. If you don't have a pencil eraser, you can use a kneadable eraser, or you can just sharpen your normal eraser into. Yes, that is hacks. Before we go into hacks, I think I'm really getting into hacks already, but let me calm down. So let's get this straight. We have brushes, we have pencils, we have blending stumps, we have erasers, we have, I think that's all. Then, not to forget my electric eraser. I bought this of recent for an artwork, and this is the highest pencil eraser I have. Electric eraser. I don't have Tombow yet, and this is very, very nice. You can sharpen it to make a very, very sharp edge, sharp details on your artwork. And I use any type of charcoal pencils. You can see there are totally different pencils I use here, and they are really, really nice. I just believe charcoal pencils should be understood based on their softness. I usually buy soft charcoal pencils. So guys, you don't need to buy all your materials. Charcoal pencils, any type of charcoal pencil, just make sure it's soft one, and you can see the evidence by when you use it. So to go to the next part, we're going into a part of editing. Yes, your image could look perfect, could look anyhow, but if you get a picture from Pinterest, as you all know, is the best image app for you as an artist. If you get a picture from Pinterest and you want to draw, and you kind of find it hard to get a particular dark part of your drawing, it's going to affect you, because you have to edit that picture and increase the exposure of that picture. How do I mean? You are exposing the dark parts of this picture, so see the darkest of your picture. Yes, there is a darkest. That is where I'm going to now. I'm trying to make you know that editing can make your artwork better. How? You need to understand the depth of your pictures. Now I'm going into the realm of depth and darkness as a part of realism. A realistic artist will understand that being a realistic artist doesn't have to depend on details. You can take, for instance, these artists that draw without details. They just draw just dark birds, and you just be drawing, and you just create light effect on it, and boom, it's just perfect. You didn't create any details. No, what they did there was use of darkness to create a very fine illusion for you to see. Yes, you don't need much detail before your artwork looks real. You just need to apply depth and darkness at the right proportions. So when you're done shading with your pencils, you will identify the parts that need dark shadings and the darkest shading of your charcoal pencil. Yeah, the way I use my charcoal pencils at this part are very different, and I will advise you to do the same. The charcoal pencil should not be used the same way in dark side. That is what affects artists. And an American is fair, we know. It's a white American, yeah, but their face cannot be white when you are drawing. That is totally wrong, except you are trying to create a total different artwork that entails a very highlight, very highlight. But if you're trying to draw an American because the person is white, you decided to make the drawing white, it is wrong. I have a couple of drawings whereby I draw Americans. I make sure that their faces are not white. You have to create realism, because just because you can draw details, you can put in those marks, you can put in those lights at the right places, doesn't make your art look weird, because you are doing it wrong. You did not create the dark side, the mid-tones before the normal ones. So try to understand your drawing before you go into them. You study it, you let yourself know, okay, this part is very dark, this space is very light. You can take, for instance, this drawing. I made it last year, some months ago, around September or so. I was made to understand through an artist that I follow that patience is the best. So I took my time, studied the drawing, and understood that this person is an American, but she is not white in the picture. Face is not white, so you have to apply darkness to it. That doesn't make the girl or the image look as if she's a Nigerian, or make her look as if she's black. It just made the essence of the picture. It brought out the essence of that particular picture, if you can see it. So make sure your art is as darkness as it should be, or else it will be flat or just a plain drawing of 2D. So engage in 3D, the use of shadows, depth, and mid-tones. These are the things that will allow your drawing to bring out that essence. But if you know how to do detailing and your art is still looking messy, you need to take this point. So aside detailing, I am still learning detailing at this point, because there are some detailings that has to do with you drawing the drawing very big. The drawing has to be very big enough to contain or withhold that amount of details. So don't just force all the details into the drawing when the drawing cannot take that details in that particular small space you're using it. Ensure the space is big enough to create those details. So after understanding that the darkness is what holds your drawing, the dark part is what holds your drawing, try concentration on the dark side of your drawing. Yeah, and leave detailing for now. Yes. So concentrate on that, and you see your drawing popping out well the way it's supposed to be. So to continue this, I'm going to go to the hacks which you can do to get your work perfect. First of all, if you don't have brushes, you can make use of cotton buds and tissue paper. These are the easiest things to get if you are a beginner to start up your artwork. You can just make use of that. I promise you, you won't regret this. This is what I used for these few arts of mine, and it came out really nice. Just make use of the tissue paper and the cotton buds. So instead of looking for pencil eraser or kneadable eraser to use, you can make use of eraser, like sharpening them to create a fine point for drawing. Yes, you can use that. Stop complaining and start working on how you can get better. So the next thing is how to create charcoal powder without having the charcoal block or charcoal chalk. You can make use of your charcoal pencil, that's if you have one. Make use of a charcoal pencil. At least a charcoal pencil can be bought from any art store around you. Make use of a charcoal brush and a sandpaper to create a fine powder from a charcoal pencil. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave it in the comment section, and don't forget to share, like, subscribe to this channel for more art tools and art tips which could help you to create perfect details to your artwork. Leave a comment about what you need on the next video, and I promise to create one specially for you. Don't forget to leave your comments. Click subscribe, share, and send to someone that needs this. Bye.